Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Los Alamos. Gosh, we're starting a few minutes early and the people aren't used to that. But we'll go ahead anyway. I'm Rebecca Howard and I use she, her pronouns, and I am today's worship associate. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your image of the holy, wherever you are on your life's journey, you're welcome here. Do we need to close the doors? Oh, turn the volume up, Mike. If this is your first time with us, we'd love to get to know you. Please sign our guest sign-in book in the foyer. You can also speak with our greeter, Mike McNaughton, myself, the chairperson of our membership committee, or Reverend Tina for more information about our church. I think I'm going to stop for just a minute as people come in and okay, I'll go on. To learn more about our spiritual enrichment programs for all ages, please feel free to talk to Terra Louise, our Lifespan Spiritual Enrichment Director. She was in the foyer handing out coming events, little schedules to everyone. For kids here in our service, we have our activity table up front. We ask that kids use whisper voices to talk at this table. Kids can also stay seated with their parents. Parents and kids can also sit in our library room to hear our service. We also have a nursery for young kiddos, 0 to 3 years. Sarah Hamoud is our nursery coordinator, and you can check in your younger kiddos with her. The nursery is down the hall on the left. After the time for all ages, kids are also invited to leave to go to their World Blessings class with Elizabeth Portillos. Parents will need to sign out their kiddos from this class after the service.
They'll be down the hall
They'll be all the way down the hall in the Create room. We have our Candles of Community area over here and in the back. Oh, I think I forgot to light the candle back there. You are invited to come up during the first hymn or now or any time before the prayer time to light a candle. And if you would also like to, you are welcome to write your joy or sorrow in the book to be read aloud during our prayer time. We'll also have a time in this service where people will be invited to voice a joy or sorrow in the microphone. Let's see. Church announcements can be read weekly through your email. They can be found on our website, on our monthly printed flyers, and on our social media pages. Today, we're highlighting a few announcements. Today, after the service, you're invited to join us for a potluck in the fellowship hall. All are welcome, even if you didn't bring any food. You can come and eat. Also, today, after our service, the Afghan family that our church assists will be selling some of the mother, Gancha's crafts that she has made. Please meet the family and support the family with today's craft sale. Next Saturday at 6 p.m. here in the church, we'll be viewing the documentary Sugarcane. This is a rated R movie. The documentary is a groundbreaking investigation into an Indian residential school, shedding light on years of forced separation, assimilation, and abuse that Indigenous children experienced at the hands of church and government. This film brings the hidden story of cultural genocide to audiences while celebrating the resilience of Native people as they work to overcome cycles of intergenerational trauma. The families of Mimi and Mike Adams are related to members of the Lil'wat Nation that are interviewed in this documentary. There will be a few discussion questions to follow the movie as a debrief. Content warning, violence and rape. Our service next Sunday at 10:30 will recognize Orange Shirt Day, also called National Day for Truth and Reconciliation or National Day of Remembrance, and is observed yearly on September 30th in Canada and the US. This is a day to commemorate the missing and murdered Indigenous children from residential schools and honor the healing journeys of residential school survivors. Please wear the color orange to the service. After our service next week at 12 noon, you're invited to participate in a workshop called The Blanket Activity. Jovita Maurer, teacher at Los Alamos High School and Native American student support for Los Alamos Public Schools, Mimi Adams and Reverend Tina DeYoe will help co-facilitate this simulation. The simulation workshop will be from 12 to 1:30. Light lunch snacks will be served. We will be led in a restorative circle practice after the workshop. This simulation workshop is for adults and youth over 13 only if a parent is attending with them. Content warning: violence, rape, and genocide. Please go ahead and silence your cell phones this morning as we begin our worship service together. I hope my phone is in my bag is silenced, but we'll deal with it. Okay, I think that's you.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Tina DeYoe, and I use she, her pronouns. And I also had one more announcement that Vitaly gave me. There are still a couple spots, like 2, I think, for the knife and fork dinners. So if you would still like to sign up and be a part of this program that we do throughout the year, it's once a month where you'll gather with a group of folks from the church, get to know them, share food. And so if you'd like to sign up, we have a couple spots left. Please talk to Vitaly right here, and he can get you signed up. So if you'd like to join the dinner club for the year, that would be great. Oh, and Sue Watts has a... Oh, okay. So yeah, so you could pair up with someone there too. So yeah, you guys, I'll chat after the service. Thank you. And this is our call to worship this morning as we come together in community to be present with one another. So we come together every Sunday to pause and worship together. Worship creates connections within, among, and beyond us, calling us to live with wisdom and compassion, calling us to be our better selves. And we also wanted to welcome our guest, Yukiko Matsuda, who is our awesome pianist this morning. So give her a nice warm welcome. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing your gifts of music with us. Thank you. So our worship theme for the month of September is belonging. And today we are learning and exploring the topic of what it means to be radically welcoming towards everyone here in our community. Being radically welcoming contributes to people in our community feeling a deeper sense of belonging, inclusion, and acceptance. So let us learn together today as we explore this topic with members of our membership committee, Anna and Rebecca. There's more members out there, John and Mike. And these folks have been working on this very topic of being more inclusive and radically welcoming to people here. So we can learn from each other, and we would love to hear your ideas of how we can all work on being more radically welcoming to all people in our community. So this is one of the questions on, you guys see that you have connection cards and pencils on your seats. So this is one of the questions on your connection card that Anna is now going to go over for us before we light our chalice.
Good morning. My name is Anna Dillane. I use she, her pronouns. The blue connection cards that you have on your seats are a tool that's being used across the country in other churches to help congregations create and sustain connections within and get to know each other better. So I'm going to ask you to take out your connection card right now and please fill it out. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about it. The first question is, how are you today? And we mean, how are you today really? So if there's something going on in your life that you feel comfortable sharing, we would love for you to do so. I'm also asking for Mike in the back, Mike Begnaud and Terra and Mike McNaughton, please, everyone fill these out. Kiddos, if you feel comfortable filling one out, please fill one out. You matter, and we would like to know, how are you doing? The boxes on the back are about activities going on at the church and what you might like to join. And maybe just get more information about, that's okay too. But if you check a box, then we know, hey, let's talk to this person about this activity that's going on, and maybe they'll join it and come to something beyond a Sunday service. So when you're done filling these out, I'm going to give you a few minutes. Just set them under your chair, or you can leave it on your chair when you leave. You can put it in the collection basket when it goes around. The last thing I want to say is that if you're requesting pastoral care or support from the caring committee, you don't have to tell us why on this. You can just say that you'd like that, and anonymity and privacy, if that is your preference. This is a trial run. We're only doing this today for now. I really, really want to be doing this every week because I want us to become a community that is really engaging with each other every single week. So if I keep pushing and if y'all embrace it a little bit, then hopefully we'll be able to. Thank you. I'm going to give you about 2 more minutes to fill it out.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. So when folks who have never heard about Unitarian Universalism find their way into our congregations, for many, it's a sudden, I'm home feeling. I know this was the feeling I had when I first walked into a Unitarian Universalist church in Knoxville, Tennessee. I read the UU values and principles rooted in love and the respect for the inherent worth and dignity of all, saw the rainbow flags, had a young adult group to connect with right after the service, heard the sermon on immigration reform and migrant justice, and I knew I had found my people. I will mention that I said many people have had similar experiences of Unitarian Universalism, but not all. For those that did not have the sudden feeling of, I'm home, when they walked in the doors of a Unitarian Universalist church or community, what would have helped that person, or you, if you've had this experience, feel like you were at home or a sense of belonging? This is the question that is radically welcoming that we need to be asking ourselves in this community. We need to know why people do not feel radically welcomed in order to improve our radical welcome to all. So being radically welcoming is being open to learning and understanding how the world is different for other people. It is also realizing that those who have been historically marginalized have places in our congregation, and it is up to us to expand our understanding of who is welcome. We start by practicing radical welcome together, and then we ask ourselves, where are our gaps? Who are we not radically welcoming into this community? Radical welcome means that we as the congregation are willing to be changed by those who come into our community with different perspectives and different beliefs. This is what I love about Unitarian Universalism. We are a faith that continues to grow and change. We are a living tradition. Our covenants in community with one another and with our shared values bind us together. Our covenants are living documents and can be revised and amended as we learn and grow together. So there are two of these covenants that we uphold together in our community. Our Unitarian Universalist Association's shared covenant is here, and there are more definitions that are longer that you can find as well. And so this is our shared covenant as a Unitarian Universalist Association across the United States. And then abbreviated version of our congregational covenant is on the back of your bulletin and up here. So this is the abbreviated version of our covenant, guided by our Unitarian Universalist shared values centered in love. We covenant to be open to all, be kind, trust, and be trustworthy, strive to understand, speak thoughtfully, work to resolve conflict, accept democratic outcomes, and be a steward. And by this covenant, we shall grow our hearts. So as we practice radical welcome, our covenants that express our shared values serve as a starting point for this work as well. So when I interviewed for coming here to become your previous director of lifespan religious education back in 2014, I was told on the interview that you all were in the process of planning and implementing a new building project. You all were about to tear down the old building and transition to a temporary space and build this new beautiful building. And I arrived right at the tail end of your planning and at the beginning of the implementation of this new building project. I still remember I talked to Evan first on the phone. Yeah, he was on my interview team. So this is actually one of the reasons why I decided to come here to be your previous director of religious education. This was an indicator to me that this community was not afraid of some change. Big changes, too. This was a good thing, in my opinion, and conveyed to me that you all are a community who is open to growth, expansion, and new ways forward together. And you all continue to show me over and over that you all are open to change, new learnings, new ideas, new insights, and new adventures together. So this is healthy, this is good, and this is part of being radically welcoming. Radical welcome also starts with all of us here. We are all here practicing radical welcome together in this community. This isn't just something our membership team and staff do, but this is all of our work. So I love how we open up our services and with the sentence, whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your image of the holy, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome here. The membership committee is working on getting this sentence to be front and center as people enter our space in the foyer. So a banner idea is in the works, so stay tuned. You might see it get put up. You might be part of creating it. You never know. And maybe we can have this sentence be in different languages, too. Just an idea. That could be radically welcoming, right? So when people walk in our door, how do we want them to feel? This is another question that goes along with radically welcoming people. And the membership committee, Rebecca, Anna, Terra, Pete, Dave, Nico, and the Spiritual Enrichment Committee have been working hard at making our foyer front entry more welcoming and inviting for people. They have also been working on putting up our shared values front and center throughout our building and putting up more progressive pride flags, rainbow flags. That's what caught my eye when I walked into the UU Church in Knoxville, Tennessee. And our church sign out along the road, check it out, even has a new rainbow painted strip that Anna added. Woo! So we got some rainbow out there on that sign now. We also have new trans-inclusive bathroom signs. And there are more radical welcome changes that are in the works. And again, if you have ideas, Anna, Rebecca, myself, and Terra are all here to hear your ideas. Again, this is a we thing as a congregation. So all these folks have been working on answering that question of how do we want people to feel when they enter our space? These are some thoughts on that. We want people to feel important, oriented, safe, accepted, belonging, that they're valued, cared for, that they're special, worth knowing, included, and appreciated. So we want people to feel genuine care and connection here. We want people to feel safe and comfortable being their authentic selves. This is why we practice radical welcome. And other ways that we can radically welcome people is by orienting them. That's very helpful. We can all do this work. So maybe it is by showing them where they can get information about our church activities. Maybe it's showing people with young kiddos where our nursery is. Maybe it's showing people where they can get coffee. Yeah. Maybe it's getting folks signed up to be on our announcements mailing list. Maybe it's giving folks a tour of our church. Or by showing folks where our large print song lyrics are, or our auditory assist devices are located. And maybe it's by inviting people to church events. So think about how you can help orient people here in our church community. There are many simple and easy things we can be doing together as we start this journey of being radically welcoming together. So I like simple and easy. There's a lot of chaos in the world, so simple and easy I can control. So let's go over some of these things today. And Anna and Rebecca are going to share some of these simple and easy things we can be doing. And right before they come up, I wanted to share some things that we can do in the sanctuary together. You might see changes that have happened. So on the backs of chairs with arms, there is a priority seating sign. So you can see those that have been put up. So let's keep those chairs for folks with differing mobility and accessibility needs, pregnant folks, and folks carrying young kiddos. So let's try to keep those priority seats with the armchairs for those people. You could sit in a different place. What? I know some people have been experimenting with this a little bit. So you could greet people you didn't necessarily know, right? You could also limit the space between you when you choose a seat and be prepared to move in closer if the sanctuary space seems like it's getting full, right? And there aren't many seats left. Think about helping people find a seat and scooching in, right? Yeah, that's scooch your boot. Okay. And then, during our Greet Your Neighbor time, which is at the end of the service today, we moved it, greet someone you don't know, or greet or thank a musician or a person serving in our AV booth. They like thank yous too. So you can do all of these things. And another thing now we're doing, and you've seen me do up here, is we can clap, but also experiment with the sign language of clapping, because we have people that are sensitive to sound in our congregation. And so you can experiment with this as clapping. Silent clapping or rubbing your hands together is a nice way to do it as well. So these are things that I need to work on too, not just asking you all to do it. I got to do it too. And let's commit to improving our radical welcome for all people. And Anna is going to come up and give us some ways of how they've been doing this, and then Rebecca as well.
Hello again. I am Anna, she, her pronouns. I'm on the membership committee. I want to add a little reminder about the connection cards. For anyone who came in after I spoke about this earlier, we're asking everyone to please fill them out, whether you're a first-time visitor or a long-time visitor or member. And just leave them on your seats or under when you're done. So it's interesting because Tina actually said a lot of the things I was going to say. So I was sitting here thinking, I don't want to be redundant, so I'm going to skip ahead. But basically that feeling of coming home, which is integral to welcoming and integral to belonging. And I first came to this church 18 years ago. I had just moved to Los Alamos. I was newly divorced. My mother had just died. And I was here alone with 2 kids and lonely. Trying to make friends in a company town when you don't work for the company is a little challenging. So I came to this church and I met people. And I'd never been part of a church before. My parents didn't believe in church or God. They raised me to distrust churches. So coming here was a very interesting experience. I didn't understand how a church could not be God-centered and create community, right? They seem to go hand in hand. It's interesting. But I knew that I needed one. And I came here, I sat in these chairs in a different building. I listened to Reverend Dale, and I met new people. And week after week, sitting with people whose values aligned with mine, it felt like coming home, just as Tina said, which is interesting. After John came, Reverend John, I left the church for a while. But now, as an empty nester, I find myself once again needing community and connection and to fill my time. And after the election, sitting in a room with people whose values aligned with mine is literally some days life-saving for me. Creating connections in this community has lit a fire in me. And it turns out it's a passion of mine. And I'm like, well, happy coincidence. So I joined the membership committee, and it's bringing me joy to help to find ways that we might create more connections and to find out that there's people all across the country trying to find ways to do this within the UU community and within other churches as well. So you've probably noticed the changes. Tina talked about some of them, the conversational grouping of chairs in the foyer, the trans inclusion signs on the restrooms, the pride flags, and the conversation cards at coffee. The goal of these projects is to help create a welcoming space every single day for each of you and me, where we can sit together, where we can connect, and where we can begin to share who we really are and what's really going on in our lives. There will be more changes in the days to come. The membership committee is committed to finding ways that we can create more connection and be a more radically welcoming community, not just to new members, though, to longtime members. One of the benefits of connection cards is that they might help us track not only who's here, but who isn't here. Be really nice to know, oh my gosh, we haven't seen her for a while. Let's check in. How's she doing? One change that I would like to mention is name tags. We're all getting new ones. And our first names are going to be big and bold. And our last names will be very small because it's not as important, right? But no more walking up to a person at coffee hour thinking, oh my God, I know this person, but I don't remember their name and I need to introduce them. You'll be able to see their name from 10 feet away. I know name tags are tricky for people, for some people, not all. And I would like to invite you all to please wear your name tags. Wear them in the same place, up here. Research shows that name tags actually help to create a sense of community if everybody wears them. Name tags help us feel like we're all part of the same group. They're an equalizer. They facilitate connections. What could be better than that? I sincerely hope that these changes help us all feel radically welcomed. Human beings sometimes resist change, and I know for some people they would rather things stay the same, but I invite anyone who is having some resistance, perhaps, to just watch what's changing among the people, because that's what's really important. Are people connecting more? Are they feeling more included? If anybody has any ideas, we, the membership committee, Tina, Terra, we welcome any and all ideas and help. We hope that people will embrace the changes and participate. I also want to apologize because I am going to basically leave right now. I've got to get to a show that if you're not there on time, you don't get to see the show. And I'm bringing an elderly friend. So thank you all for your attention and for being here.
Too many things in my hands. So I was asked to share some thoughts on greeting people as a part of being radically welcome. So I think radical welcome is maybe a bit of a buzz phrase recently, but I think the concept is that the word radical is trying to convey that while we may think we're a welcoming congregation, and I do believe that there are a lot of things we do well, there are always things we can do better. So I'll share my thoughts with you. And I'll tell you, I enjoy greeting on Sunday morning because I feel like we should all feel seen as we enter the church. It's important to me that everyone who enters feels they are a part of this awesome community. Last week, the choir sang a song, I think the title, I don't even know the title, You Are Welcome Here. And some of the words, do not leave your cares at the door. There's a place for them upon the altar of life. And every story is sacred here, even yours. For me, this embodies the atmosphere that we want to create. If someone is hurting as they enter the church, maybe just feeling seen could be a comfort. And if they enter joyfully, I might share in that joy, or we, I should say. We want to welcome them either way and share some empathy and create a connection, a sense of feeling cared for and belonging. I like seeing people as they come in and offering them a virtual hug, they may not know that, along with an order of service, just as I enjoy greeting my family and friends as they come into my home. Well, that's usually reality hugs because I rarely, if ever, have 80 to 90 people coming into my home at one time. Mike McNaughton is also at the greeters table on Sunday mornings, and he has been greeting people in this church for many years. So some of the ideas I'm going to share with you today come from a presentation by Lars Schrank, who is the Director of Member Engagement, I like that word, engagement, at the UU Church in Annapolis, Maryland, and conversations I've had with Mike, our greeter extraordinaire. So it turns out, like Reverend Tina said, there are easy and simple things we can do when welcoming and greeting people on a Sunday morning, but there are also some things we want to avoid doing as well. And again, as Reverend Tina said, we're all learning how to be more radically welcoming to people in our church and out in our community. So I'm going to start with what not to do, and then I'll talk about what we can do. So what pitfalls do we want to avoid when we're greeting and welcoming people to our community? We need to understand and avoid subtle acts of exclusion. We want to connect with people, and sometimes we say things that we don't realize imply exclusion. So I'm going to share some examples with you of what not to do, and these come from the Annapolis Church. So the first one, this is a quote, "Accentua is too hard to say. Can I call you something else?" To be radically welcoming, it's up to us to try hard to pronounce a person's name correctly and ask again if we can't remember the correct pronunciation. Statement, "Oh, your kids were so cute during the Wonder Box." That's the equivalent of our Time for All Ages. In this example, this was said to a Black person about someone else's children who were also African American, assuming that these children were theirs. It's just that it can make people feel singled out. And then finally, "You seem totally normal," said to a person. That's funny just on its own, apparently. But this was said to a person with a visible disability. So these examples that I just shared are interactions that people in churches have had that imply that the person doesn't belong to this community and they're an outsider. Also, when we recognize or when we see someone we don't recognize or know well, we don't ever want to say, "Are you new?" Again, this implies that you don't belong. So here are some scenarios. You see someone you think is new. You say, "Are you new?" It turns out that they've been a member for 30 years, and for some, whatever reason, illness or maybe an extended absence, they haven't attended for a while. And that makes them feel like, wow, I'm not known here anymore. I've been a member for 30 years, and now I'm being asked if I'm new. If someone is in fact new, asking that question can make them feel singled out. "Oh, I don't belong here. I'm new." So this actually happened to me when I first started attending. I'd been coming for about 6 weeks, although it could have been every other Sunday, and someone asked me if I was new. And it's hard to put into words how I felt, but I remember thinking, I really must be invisible. No one has seen me. It was just this one person who hadn't seen me. I see someone nodding their head. I know she meant no harm, but I did wonder, am I new? I feel like this is a community I connect with. I've been attending a small group, and I've been here several times, and suddenly I'm feeling like I'm not part of the community. It was not a welcome, pleasant feeling. And I doubt that there's a person in this room who wants to make anybody else uncomfortable, especially if we suspect that they are new to our community. So what do we do? With the knowledge that we all make missteps, and if we're aware of what is best to do, we might make fewer mistakes. So we do our best to create and model intentional acts of inclusion. Oh, great, there it is. So instead of saying, "Are you new?" we say things like, "I don't think we've met. I'm Rebecca Howard." Usually the person will introduce themselves and say, "Oh, this is my first time here," or "I came one other time," or something indicating that they might be checking us out. Some people will say they're church shopping. And my reply is, "We're glad you came today." If I see someone I know I've seen before and I can't remember their name, I say, "I know we've met, but I can't remember your name." Sometimes people reply, "I think we have met. I came 6 months ago." My reply is, "Welcome. I'm glad to see you today." Occasionally, some of these are coming from Mike helping me out here. Occasionally someone says, "I've been here many times," and I say something to the effect, I blame it on myself, "Oh, I've been in and out lately, I must have missed you. I'm glad to meet you," or "I'm glad to meet you again," or "I'm happy to finally meet you." If they aren't wearing a name tags are important, as Anna said, I may also say, "So nice to see you. Do you have a name tag, or should we make one for you?" And Mike does this regularly at the greeters table as well. It never hurts to say welcome or "I'm happy to see you." So what else can we do to create the most welcoming environment for newcomers and regular attendees as well? I'm sorry I'm talking fast, but I know we're running over. After the service, look for somebody you don't know or don't know well and introduce yourself. In the fellowship hall, look for anyone standing or sitting alone and then greet them using any of the previously mentioned statements. If you don't know what to say after that, "What brings you here today? How do you like it here? Los Alamos, the church, wherever. What did you think of the service today?" And then listen. Listening to someone's story is one of the most welcoming things we can do. Remember, every story is sacred here, even yours. We also want to be aware of body language and respect people who are introverts. We don't want to make them feel overwhelmed. Sometimes just being seen and welcomed is enough for the day. And it isn't always easy to read nonverbal clues. So if you think a person is feeling uncomfortable, you can ask if there's anything they would like to share, or are there any questions you can answer. If they say no, you can politely say, "Well, it's nice to meet you and I hope to see you again." You can then just sit with them, or you can even walk away, or you can say you want to get more coffee or tea and can you get them anything? I think that makes it a little more graceful exit. So those are my thoughts and suggestions. Perhaps you have some of your own ideas, or you'd like to greet people just handing out orders of service on a Sunday morning. Please, like Anna and Reverend Tina said, talk to us and let us know what makes you feel welcome in an unfamiliar place, or in this place, even if it's familiar to you. It's up to all of us to make this a warm and welcoming place where we all feel seen, feel a sense of belonging and being cared for by one another. A little step can make a big difference. So let's all practice how to be radically welcoming together. Thanks.
So please rise in body and or spirit as we sing our closing song, "The Way." And you are invited to hold hands with people next to you if you so choose. Extinguish our chalice. Now we are called to go forth Practice being radically welcome. And your call to action is to now greet someone you might not know or recognize and invite them to sit next to you during the potluck. So you're encouraged to use the conversation cards at your table in the fellowship hall to learn something new about someone. So let us go out and practice being radically welcoming together. Now go greet your neighbor and let's eat together.